Welcome to the channel, and of course I hope you had a great Christmas. I've had far too much food, far too much wine. Combine all that, I just feel like a fat pig, so it's time to come and hit the trail. I'm going to do one of the ones at my local. I've done this hundreds of times, literally. But what I want to do, just watching back some of my footage, I noticed that there's some quite poor line choices that I take sometimes. So I'm going to go down this trail, take you with me, and I'm going to see if I can cut a couple of seconds off when I piece it together as I wanna. So let's go and get it done. To give you the idea straight off the bat what I roll into, so you come into this section, got a little rocky section there. First thing that you come to really is this little jump. Well, it doesn't look great at all on the camera. And then you come into this sharp berm. Now, two line choices really. You can take the one on the outside here, and that sort of follows the tree line, or you can look to cut across this section here, which does take a little bit of skill to get over there without slipping out, so you may have to dab as you come into this. Cutting in. And there we go. So there's nothing too crazy as we come out of the berm. Straighten up nicely. Slightly off camber log going across the trail there. But you can roll over that, you can jump it as high as you want, and then you just come onto this flat section that rolls you through. So you've got this little jump here that you can do. Doesn't look a great deal there, but you'll get some air time. Now this bit's always kind of bothered me really, because as you come round, it's rooty, yes, but as this section develops here that we come into, because it's so rooty, I always end up slamming on the brakes and losing quite a bit of speed, therefore time, on this particular section. So you can see there's two clearly sort of marked trails. You have the outside one here, and then you have the inside one. Now I like to take the inside because you can see there you've got a steeper angle on the sort of berm section that goes in, whereas the left one, yeah, it might be easier, but it's a lot looser in that section, so probably have more chance of washing out. Piece it together. Nothing crazy, but again, looking at the lines, you can come here on the outside, or you can go straight over. Like I say, I like to do the obstacles, so you don't have to get seriously airborne. It's just kind of a launcher really, but it goes straight into this section here, which is a little bit more technical because this route's slippy, quite narrow because of the trees, into that sharp berm there. So here's the berm that you've just seen me come out of. It then goes into this straight section. Very easy to flow along here. And two line choices again. And unless you really sort of look at stuff, you're going to miss the fun elements of hitting the trail. So two lines. One at the bottom here, nice and flat. And this would have been some kind of a jump at some point, but it still is. But it's good to look ahead because the left line, nice and smooth all the way through. The right line from the jump following through takes you into a pretty sketchy set of routes. Two options really. You can take the outside line here, miss it altogether, or you can go on the jump, which is probably all in to the other side, probably five foot maybe. So it's not a crazy big one, but it can be pretty daunting to most people that aren't that confident with jumping. So that's why sessioning stuff is just an absolute confidence builder. So once you've completed that jump, you come through and you've got a little bit of a drop down there. It's not too big. It's set in kind of this like little rock garden area. Easily tackle that, and then it carries on through the woodline. So all this section is nice and easy, and there's nothing too difficult. Now you can go down this a number of ways really, because it's a lot worse up close and personal like I am now compared to when you're riding down it. But I tend to come down this section. It avoids all these big roots, keeps me away from the trees on this side as well. So I come down this section and it flows through quite often nice and smooth, so that when I do this into the berm, very slippy on sort of the Marbley Rock area, and then you come down into this line, and I'm aiming to go straight down there, so you have to set yourself up quite at a cambered angle to jump over. If you go straight ahead, you're going to end up in the bush there, so you can already see that this is a little bit more technical. This section, nothing difficult about this, but the next kind of feature that we're coming onto is the North Shore. It's only a little bit with sort of chicken wire on top, and you can see it's rollable straight away. But if you haven't done the trail before, you would ride into this thinking that that's a lot worse than what it is, and that's generally the case for a lot of jumps when mountain biking. So you might be tempted to slam on the brakes or go outside, but then when you look at it on reflection, you'll be absolutely disappointed that you didn't do it, because actually it's not as bad as it looked. Swoop through these, North Shore, just corner in nicely, and then come up here, all the way down, and then you can pump into the turns here, and that will give you some more natural speed coming through. Now, this is an interesting bit. Now, I've made a mistake here several times, because that section that I've just come through, I've always ended up, just because of the way it ruts in the ground here, taking the Highline through this section. Very rooty over there, and especially in these conditions can be a nightmare. But you can take the lower line, and then it's a nice smooth transition, hitting into the same area because it links in. So you can see that with the two trails here, and then it just swoops around. So straight away, just by cutting that section off, it is a part of track still, so I'm not cheating it. Or you can come down this way and make it a bit more technical for yourself. It's entirely up to you, but that is going to get me a bit of time back. And that's it, so nice and easy. You can go round as usual, but I'm going to go over, little jump, then brings me down. That would have been bigger when it was first built, but just over time it has sort of narrowed out in the middle there. But you can take that wider jump, and that gets you on a bit of an angle actually, so you can do a bit of trickery in the air. But ultimately, when you're doing this trail as a complete trail, start to finish, you get quite fast through here, and then you've got this fallen tree which is being turned into this obstacle here, and from distance it doesn't look a lot, but actually, you know, for someone that isn't expecting it, it could be quite a big deal. If you take the Highline here, you flow naturally into it more, but the lower line is quite often the one I've ended up using, this one that flows through there. But that there seems a lot smoother, so you know, it's an all-time first for me today seeing that, and I might actually try and come down that in a minute. But if you get it wrong, you're going into a tree, so you've got to slam on the anchors a little bit, have the control going through, and once you're past that tree section, things are fairly sweet at this point. Got a little jump here that you can do, no dissimilar to the other ones that I've shown. But then it comes into this, which is actually, looks easy when you stare at it right now, but it's quite technical because lots of big roots going across. You can bury the wheels into this mound here, and then that will fire you round to keep you on the trail as such. Then you've got a bit of a log to get over, and I've seen people go too wide on this one, and when that happens you end up sort of sliding out as you get into the exit of the berm, whereas really you want the speed on the exit. So it's easier to take that outside line and then follow the berm around. Wider line, straight through, little jump, bury it in. And that actually felt the best I've done it in a long time. Get some speed on because it's nice and flat, nothing technical. But then you do come up to this little gap. Now it is quite small, but for some people that I've been out with, it's really quite something to overcome for them. So it very much is each to their own. But you can see it's not raised high, but if you do get it wrong on this side, you know, you could get bucked off, so that is going to hurt. Now that I've cleared the jump, I'm just really going to sort of take it easy through the section. I'll speed it up in a second for you guys, but it's all just very much a bit of a walk in the park, this, because there's nothing else that's technical about this trail. Totally needed back to the top. So what I'm going to do now is I've just come a little bit further up into the wood line. I'm going to piece it all together as a one-er. I'm not going to go thrashing it through, but I have discovered a few neat lines as I've done that session there, which is why I wanted to do this video, and I'm going to put those into action today and see how it goes. So let's send her in. Massive shout out to my dad as well, because he bought me a GoPro 7 for Christmas. Totally unexpected. Oh, dog. And here we go. So we're going to put that stuff into action. Going to cut it round here. That feels fairly fast. That's never difficult, that section, but it's this one here I find difficult. So definitely slow, a little bit of a gear slip there as well, and then come through the wood, and you've got the root jump, which actually paid off today. Through the rock garden, and then up this section of roots, which is quite technical. So a little bit slower through here, and then thunder it through. So fairly flat section into the North Shore, if you remember, and then cut it up. A little bit peddly now, but nice and flat through here. Now I'm going to take that lower line today for the first time. Cut straight across, back into the trail, and then we've got a couple of jumps coming onto the log. This time I'm going to take the Highline. Oh, much more speed carried through that. Lower, and then coming on to the final sort of exciting bit, which is the little gap. And then just to the end. I'm really just going to sit down, take my time here. No rush with this bit. So I hope you enjoyed the edit today, because the point of this video is really to come up and, for me personally, to start choosing better lines, because when you have GoPro footage and you watch yourself back, you can see very easily all the mistakes you're making, especially when you got it on the helmet. You can see the line so much better higher up. So I wanted to come up and session what I already know to be a familiar trail, because I do it all the time, and just refine it, get it right. Now, only because of the conditions today really, and the sort of skill level that I'm at riding, I'm not going flat out today. I'm on my own. It's not really worth doing that. But I've chosen some lines today that I would have otherwise ignored had I not filmed it, and I just feel like I've got smoother transitions through certain sections of that trail. So when it does start to dry out a bit, or I come up with other people, I'm going to piece that together, and I already know just from how that felt today, I'm going to shave a little bit of time off there. Now, I don't go racing other people. I don't care about the times on Strava. The only person that I'm ever trying to better is myself, and if I can shave a couple of seconds off my time overall, then already that's a massive thumbs up, and I'm heading in the right direction with this sport. So if you like what you see, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and of course it'd be absolutely wicked if you subscribe, so press the logo down there, and I'll see you for the next one.